And I thought, well, this is crazy. I can't do this.
Michelle Obama is sharing her experiences with menopause.
I experienced the night sweats even in my 30s.
The former First Lady got candid on the most recent episode of her new podcast, The Michelle Obama Podcast. Michelle opened up about the many challenging symptoms she endured during her time in the White House.
And when you think of the other symptoms that come along, just hot flashes. I mean, I had a few before I started taking hormones. I remember having one on Marine One. I'm dressed. I need to get out, walk into an event, and literally, it was like somebody put a furnace in my core and turned it on high. And then everything started melting. And I thought, well, this is crazy. I can't do this.
She also revealed how husband, former President Barack Obama, responded to her health issues, as well as several other women he worked alongside.
And Barack was surrounded by women in his cabinet, many going through menopause, and he could see it. He could see it in somebody because sweat would start pouring. And he's like, well, what's going on? You know, and it's like, no, this is just how we live, you know? He didn't fall apart because he found out there were several women in his staff that were going through menopause. It was just sort of like, oh, we'll turn the air conditioner on.
And Michelle didn't mince words when she talked about how men would fare if they faced the same experience.
How many men do you think could deal with the severest form of cramps, which literally feels like a knife being stabbed and turned? When you think of all that a woman's body has to do over the course of her lifetime, going from being prepared to give birth to actually giving birth and then having that whole reproductive system shut down in menopause, there is power in that.
Well, one of the things a phrase we coined when we got here was we want the White House to be the people's house, to really be the people's house.
During the final year of Barack's presidency, Michelle told ET about wanting to continue being a positive influence after leaving the White House.
I mean, we're going to keep doing this kind of work. I mean, the beauty of there's a platform as the former president and first lady, which is a beautiful thing in this country. So it's not like we're going to stop living and doing the things that we feel are important, mentoring young people, working on girls' education, continuing to make sure people lead healthy lives. But this is a very unique and rare platform, and you don't take it for granted. And it's been an honor to serve this nation, and we hope we made people proud in the process.
When I was 54 years old, I had just met man. I manifested this man, and I just met him, and we were having the best time. I finally met my person. I mean, it was amazing. Oh. It was amazing. It was amazing. It really, truly was amazing. And then one morning, I tried to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't go. It was so painful. When I tried to let a little bit out, I couldn't go. I had to squeeze it. It took me almost 10 minutes to just empty my bladder because it was so painful. And substances were down there that I had never seen before. And I thought, what is this? So I go right to the doctor, and he's, doing the exam, looking up there, and he said, yep, I think I know what this is. And I'm like, what? He said, it's a really bad case of herpes.
What? Okay, so you're in his office, and now what?
And now Van, it's my guy, he drove me there because this was so swollen I couldn't even put my legs together to drive. So we spend the next 72 hours kind of doing the blame game, trying to figure out who gave it to me, who gave it to him. And then a couple hours after that, my doctor called me and said that you do not have herpes.
Oh my God.
And it's almost like, I was like, what? I'm like, okay, then what is it? And this was the defining moment for me. He said, I don't know. That's what it looked like. And that sent me on my own reconnaissance and my own researching. And I realized, oh, I'm 54 years old. They say, I learned that perimenopause can start in your late 30s even, and early 40s. Yeah. I thought, clearly, I'm 54. But at that point, nobody had really had a serious conversation
And it
with
does
me.
happen for people in their 50s, too. There's no real age, rhyme, reason. No. The symptoms vary.
Everybody goes through it differently.
Everybody goes through it differently. Everybody's cures and remedies can be different.
Yes.
right, and of course, the videos that you've watched sets a preamble of what we're going to discussing today on Wellness Wednesday. It's good to see. Feels like forever. Hi, how are you?
Winnie, karibu your world.
Let me tell you, it feels like forever, but it's so good to see you. I hope that you've been well. Happy new month, happy new quarter. Hey, welcome to the show. The show is Your World. My name is Winnie Lubembe.
And I am Wikali. Really, really nice to see you, Winnie. Karibu.
Right?
And I'm happy yesterday you were not here because I hear you had plans.
Let me tell you.
It being April Fool's Day, you had quite the
You
plan
know
for
what?
me.
You know what? Ni kama uliomba, ule vile uliomba vizuri. But did you get to fool anyone? No, you didn't. You realized it was April Fool's
At around 2 p.m.
After
That's when I
Imeisha.
figured, oh, wow. Okay.
The Fool's end at midday.
I know. So nobody would have fooled me at that point.
But I hope you got to fool someone on April Fool's. But again, like I said, it's a new quarter. So I'm curious. Have you set new goals for, first of all, quarter one? How was it like for you? How are you doing? Ama tuniache.
Nimeanguka mara kadhaa. Kuanguka nayo nimepu.
But
As long as you remember what you were supposed to do and you've not rubbished it or been like, imeshapitwa na wakati, I will not do it. I try not to put myself in a box.
Okay.
Where
That's
I'm
good.
like, if it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
like, you know how people do gym in January?
Yes.
I have done that enough times in my life to know that si lazima ianze January.
Sasa ni quarter two.
Unaweza anza March.
It's still
Nilianza
okay.
March.
That's still okay. But I hope again that your new month has started on a high note. Today is Wellness Wednesday, and today we want to talk about the people that we mostly forget, okay? And we are focusing today on navigating menopause and perimenopause. And I know majority of you, when you think about perimenopause and menopause, sometimes we tend to lose, and especially the term menopause, we use it very, very loosely, and sometimes not in a good way, okay? Say, for example, someone is not having a good day, ama tu something has happened, alafu unasikia mtu anasema, huyo ako menopause, okay? But you don't really know the struggles. You don't really know, how that feels and what they're going through. So today we're going to highlight all those things, and guess what? From all the possible angles, from, the mental health aspect to the physical, to how it affects one, not just as an individual, but, as a society and as a community as well. So you want to stick around until the end of the show to understand, first of all, menopause and perimenopause, because a perimenopause seems like a very, very huge term. I have to say it slower. Otherwise, the Kale and Luya in me zote zitagongana.
That is so
Well
true.
said, right?
And I like that we started the show with the two videos
Yes.
because we're seeing two of the most powerful, like among the most powerful women in the world,
Yes.
talking about this
Yes.
and their experiences, and them not even knowing what is happening,
What is happening
to them.
Yes.
Blaming people for things.
Left, right, and center.
And being around, you're wondering, do they understand? Do they not understand? If them at the caliber of life they are at,
You would expect
with the
they
kind
would
of
know,
exposure
right?
they have,
Yeah.
then it means we need to have this conversation a bit more
100%.
louder.
It could never
even.
be timelier
Yes.
than it is today. So we have a very simple question, right, for you. And let me tell you, I went through some of the comments of like, hey, clearly there's a reason why we need to have this conversation, because okay. And the question that we're asking you today is very simple. The question is, how do you feel the society views menopause and perimenopause? Once again, how do you feel the society views menopause and perimenopause? You know what to do by now, okay? Our social media handles are at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X, and tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie, and tag at It's Wikali Mary. Now, excuse me, Mejua.
Yeah,
Used to say
good
it's
job.
very Wikali.
Good
She's like,
job.
absolutely not.
No.
And let us know your feedback. If you know someone, or if you're going through menopause, perimenopause. From the video, they said that sometimes it starts in your late 30s.
And I'm like, Allah?
Yeah.
Allah?
Hey,
Allah.
Gojeni kwanza, and all those things. So share your feedback, and we'll go through them as we continue with the conversation, and use our WhatsApp number as well, 0112 500 400. Who do we have today?
We have
lovely
an
panel.
amazing panel.
Yes.
Karibuni sana. And I'd like to introduce them, starting from my immediate right.
Mm-hmm.
You have to help me, Winnie.
I know,
with
I
the
always
hands
do
thing.
this.
Yeah, I have to do that. I have to do that. From my immediate right, we have a marriage and family therapist. She's also an administrator at Royal Victory Hospital. Esther Njeru, welcome to the show. We also have Dr. Washira Murage, who's a consultant, OBS GYN, and a fertility expert, and the CEO, the Savannah Hospital. Karibu.
Thank you for having me.
And if you're on social media, you know your health coach ni nani. Karo Nyamburanganga, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Asanteni sana for making the time. I'm just curious. The term, when did you first come across the term menopause? And how did you guys Ulisoma kwa darasa. But for the two ladies, like the first time you came across menopause, and what did it feel like? What did you make of that term menopause, or even perimenopause? Me, I heard about perimenopause. But yes, let's start with
by default,
okay.
I learned about menopause when I was going through it at 27.
Huh?
At 27?
Yes. So I had no idea. Of course, you've learned some home science and biology in high school. After that, of course, it was very far from me until when I had to go through the premature form of menopause
yes.
because I went through a hysterectomy. So I had cervical cancer. I removed my reproductive system.
Right.
And my doctor said, you will experience not full-blown menopause, but some slightly some menopause until I got to feel it and I got to know what exactly it is. So perimenopause, I came to learn about it later. Post-menopause, all those things I learned through the experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
When they said Nikadogo to experience some sort of menopause, was it some sort of, I felt
it was some sort of in
full blown.
Let me tell you, it was not some sort of. I'm 12 years post-menopausal. I'm still going through the journey. Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, we'll come back to understand more on that, because now I have so many questions and my head is like going all over the place. But let's hear from you. The first time you came across menopause, what did it feel like for you?
Wow, I didn't quite know what was happening. I first experienced a very heavy flow for all day. It was very heavy and very uncomfortable.
All right.
And I kept on changing pants. I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
Fortunately, I worked in a hospital setup, so I got to talk to my gynecologist.
All right.
And she told me that it's normal. Maybe at your age now,
okay,
you couldn't be experiencing perimenopause.
How long ago was that?
What age were you in?
I was in my 45.
Okay.
45, 46.
All right.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
So doctor says you're experiencing
perimenopause.
Okay. Do you know what that even means at that time?
I didn't know. I didn't know what it meant.
Yes.
But I have an elder sister who told me once that she was going through menopause because we would be in the same car and she would untie her bra and told me it's very uncomfortable. The heat is too much.
Okay.
I feel like I'm being burnt by an iron with an iron sheet. I don't know the type of heat. So later on, I got now to experience that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you want to speak closer to the mic? Kidogo inue mic hivi kidogo tukusikie.
Put it closer.
Yeah. Okay. So at that point now, I remembered, oh wow, that's what my sister used to feel. So it's an uncomfortable feeling, an uncomfortable experience. Yeah, it was bad for me.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's interesting that it's different. And these are just two women who are here with us.
Yeah.
So it's very varied and different. And if they came to learn about this probably through their experience, then I think it begs the question, and Daktari, this is where we rope you in. Menopause ni nini?
Yeah.
Perimenopause ni nini?
And then I read about andro, and then you talked about post. And I'm like, this is a lot. Help.
Okay, thank you very much. When these two ladies were discussing, I was just looking at their faces. You said you are 27 years. I was wondering where did menopause come from?
Yeah.
But of course now being a medic and this being my area, then of course I know that it must have been induced by something. And of course now it was also induced by the surgery.
Yeah.
Of course in cancer of the cervix you don't remove the ovaries, because when you're talking about menopause business, you're talking about issues to do with the ovaries. But when you're removing the uterus, sometimes you interfere with the blood supply. that goes to the ovaries. And that's why they told you a bit of menopause. Yeah, but of course now with the time, with age, then of course now the real menopause kicks in. So that's what happens in the surgery. But you still look great, and I think I'm just surprised that you're talking about menopause. Now the whole thing about menopause is divided into 3 phases, what you have just mentioned. Peri means the period surrounding menopause, some years to menopause. So the second one is menopause, and menopause is cessation of menses for 12 consecutive months. So if you miss periods 12 consecutive months associated with the following symptoms, then you talk about menopause. The hot flashes, the sweating, emotional ability, things like vaginal dryness, low libido, sometimes you forget, sometimes you're anxious, insomnia. These are some of the things that come with now menopause. The period then after menopause, which may go for several years, is post-menopause. And the signs and symptoms are quite similar. I know you're talking in a few statements, but it's lots of stuff when you're talking about menopause, and it tags along with it many things, psychological disorders, medical conditions, and how best then do they handle their life, because it's a complete ballgame when they get into menopause, and then they need some support. Both from family, we need even people to understand. And I guess that's why you as NTV brought this discussion, because we need to discuss it so that people can understand the women that are going those 3 phases.
Don't worry about the short statements. We have 2 hours.
We have time. We got time
to talk about all this. Now, so I have 2 questions. One, you mentioned the period, so perimenopause, the period before menopause. Now, so what is this period in terms of now looking at age? Because from the videos, someone said they were actually told that you can start experiencing the symptoms in your 30s, in your 40s. So is there like a specific time frame? Say for someone who's watching us and they're in their 20s, and maybe they're experiencing some of the things that you talked about. They're like, hey, perimenopause. Like, what is that period? Like, is there a specific time frame that you say you as a specialist that they are experiencing perimenopause? And then I'll ask the second question after.
It's never one specific period of time. They talk about years. But by definition, anything coming below 40 years is induced as premature menopause. Anything now 40 years and above, you start now the peri. And they can come in bits. You may have maybe low libido, others may have emotional ability, others probably may have insomnia, others may have some bit of sweating like what they were telling her. But anything below 40 years is premature menopause. And most of the time, there'll be causes because it's either induced, surgical, or drug-induced. Then after that, then it now degenerates into now full-blown menopause, which is around 51 years. That's when we now get the menopause, the cessation of periods.
All right. The second question was about the 12 months of no menses. But now that you say at 50, around 51, it's sort of like answered myself. Because I might say they're in their 30s and they have not, seen their menses for the past 12 months. Do they now fit in that category of menopause? But no, that's premature, like you said.
Premature menopause, yes. And most of the time, it has a cause.
All right. We'll talk about the causes later. As we continue.
I think tying into what you just said, Winnie, when we're looking at the time frame of the pre, and now we've gotten to the during, the post is forever. Is that the life of a woman till?
And then it's like you experience the symptoms twice.
During
and then
post.
Because you said like the symptoms are more or less the same, no?
Yes. Yeah, actually the period is sort of forever.
Oh, no.
But fortunately, kind of the symptoms reduce with the time. But it's funny. There are some women you meet and they don't feel anything. They are 70, they are 60-something, but they don't feel anything. Others, you get them, they are in problems. They are sweating, they are drenched in sweat, they can't remember anything because their memory is gone. So it again varies. But generally, the symptoms are there sort of forever, but on a reducing trend.
Okay.
Okay.
Where really?
I know. I'm
It's
like,
a life
hey, those ones who don't feel anything. Wanaomba wakiangalia wapi? Because I know a lot of women would rather be that, not experience anything.
Yeah.
And based on the experiences that they share, it's not anything to be taken lightly. And like Dr. you mentioned, rightly and said, they need support. And we'll look at what kind of
That
support,
looks like.
what that looks like later on. But Carol, can we get to hear your story now? 27. And then Dr. says, you'll experience some sort of menopause. But from your experience, that is not the case. And like you said, it was induced by, surgery. Take us through that moment. And not just physical, but also emotional, because it's a lot to deal with the fact that, number one, there was cervical cancer, and then you had to have your uterus. And now, in your case, like you said, everything was removed, and now having to deal with, the symptoms. Okay. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And thanks for being here.
You're
to
welcome.
Share, really.
You're welcome. Yeah, it was quite a journey. First of all, I made the choice. I spoke to my doctors, we discussed, and I made the choice to remove everything. So it's not my doctor who had to remove it. But when I was told slight, I had no idea what slight meant. First of all, at my age, this is when my age mates were very productive, and my mother had not gone through menopause, so my mother had no idea what was happening. Neither of my aunties. So when I was going through it, I had no idea what to experience. I remember the first time when now I'm recuperating from the surgery, and the night sweats were like, what is happening? I don't know what is happening. And I could call, my doctor was really kind. And so I would call him and ask him, what's happening to me? He'd listen and tell me, that is your body going through it. However, he was also very kind, because he also helped me with hormonal replacement therapy that would reduce it a bit. But what saved me was my boss's boss, who was a white woman, had gone. Naturally, I don't know how to keep quiet when I have a problem, or when I get through something. So after I went through the surgery, I wrote an email to the entire institution, and I was working for an international organization.
So all the
global. So I went there and I said, dear colleagues, it is important to go for pap smear because of this and this and this. And everyone was like, oh my God, this woman. So my bosses had to come and see me and ask me, young girl, how bold can you be? Then she told me 3 months before she had gone through exactly what I had gone through. And then she told me, I'm also experiencing this. So we are comparing notes, and she's like, I'm also feeling like this. So she was in her 50s. And finally we were like, oh, we are okay. Oh, she was the first person who told me, oh, I'm also going through this. Then I went online, because I look for solutions left, right, and center. I went online and I found a group called Hyster Sisters. It's a global platform where women who've gone through hysterectomy share their experiences. And that really gave me the hope. And I was like, Fuchs, I'm not alone. Heart palpitations, night sweats, cold feet, cold hands, insomnia, you're tired, it was messy. But the way God has created me, I am a happy, bubbly human being, and I love happiness. And I chose and I prayed to God, please, God, teach me how to tell women that menopause is not bad. And so the last 10 years, I've been telling them the beautiful side of menopause.
That is what you told me today.
Yes.
Wow.
It's not
don't
that
tell
bad.
anyone else.
Yes. We've made it look so bad, and so I dedicated 6 years of research to understand. I would talk to doctors and ask them, now what do I do? I would talk to nutritionists. Then I studied my body, because again, immediately, it was March 23rd, 2013. By September, I had added 15 kgs. 15. I was looking like this. Because now this is when I started struggling with first of all, the body, the physical changes. My wound is healing. I'm adding weight. I'm having hot flashes. But I remembered one thing that my doctor was also again very kind and told me, you might experience low libido. And I was like, Jehovah God, no. That one, no. Jesus, don't take that one.
Not that one. Anything else?
So I literally prayed for it, and this is a conversation that most people shy away from having. But now I chose to speak about the effect of the sexual side, because for me I prayed for high libido, and God granted me that, and I thank God for it. So it is okay to even ask for it. So again, it's not every woman, because one thing I've seen, Daktari, maybe you will share with us. I've seen that women, when they go through it, they already have resigned in their head sexually. They have resigned, and they've said, they said menopause has low libido. It's not always. I think yesterday I was with a 72-year-old who is still having her libido up. So I chose to speak about it and also share my experiences. The third experience was when I went online and I was wearing a nice, beautiful dress, and then when I posted, the bullies, they just wrote to me, "You have 3 stomachs, choose one." And I said, oh, Jesus, now I need to start researching on how to lose these 3 stomachs. So my weight journey now started from that point of knowing how to naturally manage my weight as much as it was changing. What I noted and what I've been noting with time, when you stay a long time with me, you will notice that sometimes the hips will grow, other times the breast will. I have 3 bra sizes.
Esther is laughing over here.
She knows what I'm talking about.
Story to tell us.
Yes, the hips change, the breast change. Normally,
is there do you know, like, if you come with your attack?
Yes, I usually know. No, but also know depending on stress levels. I know on my diet. I know, but I noticed that now the big challenge for most of us is when now the fats go to the wrong places. The belly fat, the hands, and the chin. So I fight the 3. This one, and this one. But when it goes to the hips, I'm happy. I'm good to go. So these are some of the struggles. And of course, at 27, you can imagine I was really struggling with, I don't have a uterus. I wanted 7 children. Now I don't have. So emotionally, I also went through quite a lot.
And we'll come back to really focus on that, because, like you said, even just you look lovely in your dress and you post, and then someone just chooses to, of course it goes back to now, because people don't know, and maybe one day we'll have a conversation on how to deal with these bullies online. Like, do you always, I am getting angry at that comment. Let's take a break, okay? And then when we come back, there's so many things that you pointed out that I wanted to rope in Daktari and also Esther. In terms of, you talked about support, but also the mental state and even preparation for that, because nobody prepares. Both of you said, I got to learn about menopause or perimenopause when I was going through it. So it's like nobody prepares.
It's like
you're
expected to figure it out, like, oh my God, what happened?
What happened? So then we'll get to understand how then do we prepare people for that and get to that level of menopause is beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful.
All right. So let's take that short break. We'll come back with more of your feedback as well on the question that we're asking you, and that is, how do you feel the society views perimenopause as well as menopause? All that is coming up after the break. Do stay with us.
What's up, people? My name is Brian Aseli, most bankable host in Africa, and I'd like to invite you for Man Cave 5. But before I even tell you that, there are 3 things a man cannot live without. 1 is money, of course, and 2 is ambition. I know some would say a woman, but this time round I want you to focus, okay? Nataka focus kabisa. The 3rd thing is actually coming on ground for the Man Cave 5. And that's because men will be gathered and they will be having panel discussions right here at Herencia. For those who are asking themselves where Herencia is, it's actually off Thika Road, Wanasema exit 16, and of course, it's right before you get to Mangu High School. So don't miss out on a chance to interact with men, because every time men meet, great things happen.
Ni kupanda na kushuka maisha tunayoishi, kulala na kurauka, kila kitu hakitoshi, tunusuru ya rabuka, ujana ni moshi, maisha ni msumeno, hukata mbele na nyuma. Ina mtego tamaa kwenye maisha sasa.
Get maisha tunayoishi by Nuhu, dial star 812 star 804 hash.
Dunia kizaza pindi unapojitosa.
Skiza na Nation.
Did Cecilia tell my father about your relationship with her?
Life is full of surprises.
Is there something else that I need to be worried about?
Today is Judgment Day.
She's out of danger now.
Uliacha mwanamke alikuwa na mtoto, jua mwanamke mwingine.
Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. And people come in and they're like, oh, it works. I can have ice cream and I'm not in any discomfort. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
Get ready for an epic series on Twende. More adventure, breathtaking views, and loads of fun. From stunning waterfalls to vibrant streets. And for hiking enthusiasts, we are diving into the wild beauty of Marmanet Forest. For the first time ever, we visit a livestock market. We also get our hands dirty at a local farm in Rumuruti. Think tomatoes, cabbages, avocados, and more avocados. This series is packed with excitement, adventure, and the incredible spirit of our people. This is an adventure like no other, filled with laughter, discovery, and unforgettable experiences. Every Sunday, only on NTV.
All right, welcome back. I hope you've had some time to just wooza, okay, as well as digest what we've been talking about as far as navigating menopause and perimenopause. But peri should come first, perimenopause and then menopause, okay? And that is the subject of conversation today right here on Wellness Wednesday on Your World. And we have a very simple question for you, and that is, how do you feel the society views perimenopause and menopause? Once again, how do you feel the society views perimenopause and menopause? Bikadli, hey, what are people saying?
Let me tell you.
What is the world saying?
The world is saying quite a bit. So Alfrix Asiago says, I'm all grown and old enough to stop getting curious about a woman's menstruation. Unless this escalates to a medical ailment, and then it's the work of a gynecologist. My work ends with making payments. I'm a man. Kama ninaisoma nikipatia character. A woman can manage herself. Thank you, and never bring this up again.
Can we just start from there? Because
let's just take a pause.
Yeah, please. What, why, when? Doc, is this, yeah, I don't even, I have so many things to say, but not nice.
Yeah, so we will choose not to. We will choose not to. But at least we have Esther and Doc in the building. And I don't know from psychologist's point of view, Esther, is this something that is very common? Especially coming from a man?
Yeah, to just say a woman can handle herself.
Just going to put it out there.
Me, I'm just going to pay. The rest they can handle.
Yeah, it sounds like that's someone who is delayed. It could be hurting when you find your lovely woman or your lovely wife going through some sort of experiences that you never used to experience before, like hot flashes. You're with someone, they're going through hot flashes, and they're going through anxiety and depression, and you don't get to understand why all of a sudden things have changed. And like we say, mood swings, especially mood swings, will put away many of us, especially the male gender, because they will not understand why all of a sudden you're happy, the next minute you're crying, the next minute you are irritable. You know, they may not understand. So maybe many of us out there have their women going through menopause, but they don't really quite understand, and they don't know how to handle this woman who wakes up in the morning and starts crying for nothing. Yeah, you ask for an outing and you want to start crying. You wonder what has changed
What
all
is
of a sudden.
happening? Yeah.
And then they may also not understand that at that point, when you're going through perimenopause, either you're looking for a child, ama you never got your children early, and so now in your 40s, ama in your early 30s, you're trying to conceive. And this woman can't conceive because now she has started the perimenopause. It has already started setting in. You may maybe not be able to conceive, and that can also bring a lot of anger to a woman. And now that's where we say mambo imeanza, because we have already set into the midlife crisis, where we find you don't understand me, I don't understand you, we want changes. Our children are now adolescents or Gen Zs in your 40s, and there's a lot that a woman does at that moment. So how is she able to handle these, a lot of responsibilities, and her body overreacting, and the hormonal changes overreacting? She doesn't have the libido. You know, it's a lot that is happening.
A lot of things.
A lot
Do
of
you
things.
sometimes feel like such comments is the reason why not so many
We're
people
not
talk
talking
about
about
it?
it.
Because
Yeah.
now, if I mean, we just posed that question. To get such a response. I'm trying to imagine how many women are going through it and they can't talk to anyone, because if this is the kind of response that you're getting, then why would you want to talk about it, right?
Yeah, of course you not want to talk about it. If any time you have those you're lacking sleep, and someone doesn't want to understand why you're waking up in the middle of the night to go take a shower, they don't understand. And they might feel like, okay, there could be some misunderstandings where you wake up in the middle of the night, you're taking a shower, or you've just come from work and you don't want to talk to anyone. So there's that kind of a misunderstanding. So it's good for people to understand that in this life, it's a developmental stage. And we also need to understand different developmental stages as we continue growing. Like the loss of estrogen, the loss of changes in the body hormonal systems can cause a lot in a human being. So psychoeducation is very important. So at that time, at that point, I find some people coming for they come for therapy, and you get to understand that it's not quite an illness, because you can confuse those kind of behavior, like those mood swings. You can easily confuse that with a bipolar mood disorder. Easily.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's extreme.
I was actually told in 2017 that I have the borderline of bipolar because of what Dr. is talking about.
But did they know what you were going through? It was just
they
a
didn't
wrong
care
mistake?
to ask.
It was a misdiagnosis.
Yes, it was a misdiagnosis.
Okay. Clearly, there's a lot. Okay, do you want to go through more feedback and then we come to that, Tari?
There's a comment I want to read, a better one this time. A highlighter. I'm not so sure if I'm saying it right, but the second name is Shitandaye. It's been 30 days plus, still on bed rest. Perimenopause just set in. Delusional and a very fragile state for me, including menstrual flow for a whole 30 days with very heavy lumps. Iron deficiency has pushed me into eating udongo, anemic, fatigued, mood swings, anger issues, and I stopped working during this period. No one prepared me for this and had to go to Google in order to understand what I'm going through, plus the remedies, both medical and homemade. It's a tough situation.
Oh, okay.
And I think this ties in with what you said, Winnie, earlier, just before the break, that we need to probably find out before ifike.
Yes.
Kwa mtu yoyote hajafika.
Yeah.
What do we need to look out for? What do we need to do? Is there a way to make it better, easier?
I'd like to say something. And I want to bring even the earlier story into perspective.
Yeah.
And what I said when we were starting the show, that support, social support system, especially spousal support system. The earlier gentleman, what he said is like, it is something, inferiority, dismissive and all. Such a program like today, when you're educating people, it's very, very important, because people get to understand menopause does not mean that your sexual life is gone. True. It does not mean that your libido is gone forever. You cannot function. You cannot perform. I want to equate it to the sort of retirement. When you've been working for many years, does not mean that when you retire, you go and die. No, you just change into something else. I mean, it's like transferring this official office to another office.
Yes.
Same with menopause. If spouses can understand, if the people around us can understand that menopause is just another phase of life. Okay. And just like we encourage ourselves to how to embrace change process, we just need to embrace change process. Yeah. And then tweak the things in another way. Sex will be okay. The lady is beautiful. She can go dance. She can go swim. She can go for other things that we are going to talk about. The lifestyle changes.
Yes.
Diet modifications. Yes. And they can look smooth, they can look beautiful, they can do anything.
I mean, look at the women we have today.
Look at them.
I just say they look beautiful, and that is the truth.
Yes.
So I feel we need to educate the people, especially the spouses, that they should support their women. And then, of course, that will go even into counseling, that, yes, they are going to menopause, the estrogen is going down, they might have osteoporosis, they might have all those things. Remember, even the other complications, the cardiovascular, the heart disease and all. If someone does not have the support from the immediate team members, the spouse, maybe the children and other people, then how are they going to cope? So that is so critical in the management and the success of a woman that are going peri or menopause or post-menopause.
Yeah. May I add something?
Yes, sure,
I have very weird analogies which sometimes make sense. Daktari will tell you that there is a vein, there is a connection between the heart and the uterus. And the months that you were going through your periods, the blood was being sent. And now there is a pause, because menopause there is a pause in the flow and all these things. The beautiful thing, have you ever thought why your grandmothers are so kind and compassionate? It's because all that blood goes back to the heart and a woman becomes a sweet soul. We become so caring. So it's not the end.
I like that. Do you want to say that again?
Yes, so the day we change how we see it.
Yeah.
Scientifically, God created a connection between the heart, the throat, and the womb. Yeah. And now the blood has been sent every month, and now there is a pause. Yeah. Yeah. So the blood takes back to the heart. Wow. That's why when you go to your grandmother, she feels she's so compassionate, she's loving. That's why we love our grandchildren more, because there is so much love in our heart. The womb is paused, but our heart is richer and better.
I feel like just saying, sasa kwa hivyo tumemaliza show.
Let's go home. Yeah, that's a beautiful analogy.
That's really beautiful. Yes, that's really beautiful. I'm curious to also hear your story, because like you said, yes, you saw your sister going, through it. And then when you went through it, you're like, oh, this is actually what my sister was going through. But at that time, you didn't know much about it. But before that, Daktari, so how, because you see the symptoms that you mentioned, sort of like mimic symptoms for other things. Say, like, for example, like the hot flashes. Symptoms, nasikia joto ama ni malaria, You know? Yeah. So
heart palpitations.
Most women, So how then do we differentiate between symptoms for menopause or perimenopause from, other conditions that might be serious or not?
Yes, that's key. Just before I forget, it's nice also for the men that we undergo andropause. Yes, so in as much as the ladies are going menopause, we also undergo andropause. Of course, now in medicine, there are things called differential diagnosis. Okay. That whenever you get the hot flashes, whenever you get the sweating, then you have to think other things. In fact, it's normally a whole workup. When a woman presents to the doctor with perimenopause, we need to look up other things: thyroid diseases, malaria, diabetes, other blood infections, kidney infections, the liver. So it's normally a whole workup of the body. Okay. TB, tuberculosis, yes, COVID, now that we are having at the moment, things like HIV disease can also behave the same like menopause. So it's normally a whole workup. so that you rule out the other possible things that can come. Many things people have been confused. They have had maybe even TB brain. And here we are condemning the lady that they have menopause and there's you keep pumping hormones and hormones just for them to start having conversions. And they collapse and they're in comatose. When you do a CT scan, there's a whole lesion in the brain. So you have to do differential diagnosis. You have to think, this disease that we are calling peri or menopause, how is it behaving? What else is it like behaving? Then you rule out other things. So you do a ballad of investigations to ensure that you do not have now the other possible causes before you label a woman menopause. Individual women are treated individually.
Yes.
You'll get a lady, 56 years, she's having her periods. Every month. She has no single sign.
I actually saw a comment like that, but
of
yes, I'll
menopause.
read it after. Yes.
Yes. Others are 46. They are 47. They are already drenching in sweat. They are seated, in a chama of women, and they are running out. They are opening the windows.
The little
yes,
fans.
Yes. All those fans and those other things. It's precious.
Yes.
So all those. So individual people, behave individually.
Yeah.
But for the people listening to us, let us be sensitive.
Please. Yes.
Very key. Let us not look at the woman next to us with all those symptoms. You are looking at them like you want to move away from them. Then you worsen the condition. They might even now get the hypertension, the heart disease, the strokes, and all those things. So being sensitive, that's what normally I would ask my fellow men. Let us be sensitive to our ladies, because the ladies tend to be affected more than the men in terms of a number of aspects. So the women are very sensitive the way they look. So if they start having wrinkles, the hair is falling off because of the menopause, let us not look at them differently, because that will only worsen the situation. Yeah, so being sensitive is very key as we look at how we manage the women that are going those three phases.
That's true.
Yeah.
The comment that I talked about is from Mary Njue, who says, I need to understand this menopause thing at 52 and I'm still having very regular periods. Kwani inafaa kufika at what age?
So different people behave differently.
Yeah.
It's not unusual to see even a 56-year-old. Menopause, everything, the skin, they are okay. They have no issues, and they're having their periods.
Yeah.
So it depends on someone's makeup, the hormonal makeup of somebody.
I've seen women in their 50s also getting children, and someone's like, "Ay, what is
Janet Jackson anafaa kutuambia."
Hey, something. And even the grandma from Uganda,
Yes,
in her 60s, right, 67 thereabouts, and had children. So I understand when you're saying it varies from person to person, because that was gonna be my question. So does it mean then the symptoms ziko hivi list enye lazima upitie hizi zote during menopause, but like you said earlier on, other people don't experience anything
at all,
right?
Yeah.
So approaching it like sensitivity and whatnot. I'm curious to hear about your story, but
yes, please let's hear your story, because you said earlier that you heard about it from your sister. Alikuwa na behave ni kama amekelewa mabati moto. Anasema hivyo ndio anasikia. So when it happened to you, that is what you could relate to. But what was the process like for you to understand it, to know it, manage it, and all of that?
Yeah, because I'm lucky. I have elder sisters who are very open, and they talk anything. We talk anything as sisters.
Right.
So I was when my doctor told me that you could be experiencing perimenopause, so I was somehow ready for it. So I was waiting for the hot flashes.
Yeah.
So, but it was a bit embarrassing. Like you're in a meeting somewhere and you start sweating from nowhere, and it's cold, and everyone is in a sweater. I'm surprised I'm in a sweater today.
Yeah.
Everyone is shivering. You are sweating. It's embarrassing. So at some point, I lost my esteem. I lost my confidence. I didn't want to be called to meetings. I didn't want to be called for, anyway, I didn't want to appear in front of people because, hey, kinaesa nipata.
Right? Yeah. We just got from nowhere.
Kinaesa nipata.
Yeah.
So I lost confidence. I remember even my tailor, the man who makes my clothes, at some point asked me, hey, umekuwa mrembo sana, lakini siku hizi mbona manguo umefika size 16? Tunaanza kuongeza mpaka your sizes.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing because you're mocked, you're bullied by almost everyone. Your tailor, your neighbors. Siku hizi umenona sana, tukienda kwa mkutano ya mama, you know, and fungulia huyo ndirisha kwa karibu ataanza kusweat tu sahi. You know, it's embarrassing. Let's be sensitive.
Yes.
Both men and women. Let's be sensitive.
100%.
Then, but I was lucky. I said it again. I was lucky. But now in my practice, you find women who come, couples who come, and the men can't handle them anymore. And what happens to the man? Because he can't stand this woman, atatafuta now, unaelewa hiyo.
Yes.
So that he has his own comfort, for his own comfort.
Yeah.
So this woman, okay, this now relationship will end up either into separation or into divorce.
Yep.
But who are you divorcing? Who are you divorcing? So it's good to be sensitive and also to understand this person that I married, we are no longer young. And even if this one is experiencing this, like Dr. said, men also go through what? Andropause. Yeah. They also go through andropause. So we support each other. We walk this journey together. And support is key, especially to the spouses. Spouses and your friends and everyone. Let also mama, unani chama, women understand that it's not fun when a woman is going through this. And instead of supporting them, ama unampatia some
side comment,
wewe sasa unamwambia vitu singine. It's not
right.
Funny.
It's not right at all.
Funny.
And I like that you bring out the psychological aspect of things.
Yes.
And I think everything ties into what Daktari keeps saying. Support. Because my first experience, and I didn't understand what was happening with my mom, is usually my mom would be the one tufunge dirisha za gari when we're traveling. Iyo baridi ni kitu ataki. Over the years, and when I got a bit older, they'd say, I won't kona baridi squeezy kama mama yako, because mom would always be covered, right? But then this one day, yeye ndio ako, teremsha dirisha niko, where did she leave the chat group? You know, and then later I got to understand what that is. So let's extend some grace.
I agree. And we're discussing this and we said some people don't even know that our parents, our moms were going through it because we're conditioned to be strong as a woman, because our grandmas and our great-grandmas and everybody else before them went through it and they were okay. But you don't know whether they were okay or not. Right? So are we due for a break?
Yes, we are going on a break right now. But remember, our question of the day is, how do you feel the society views perimenopause and menopause? You can give us your answer on NTV Kenya on all social media platforms. We'll be checking that out when we come back from this very short break. Don't go too far.
Taarifa Teke na e-paper. Stay in the know on the go. Getting the full story Bilangori. To sign up, choose your preferred subscription. Use the promo code SUBZ22 to get 20% off and pay. Get your favorite newspaper and enjoy the truth anywhere, anytime. For inquiries, email epaper@ke.nationmedia.com or call 0790 111 111. Subscribe today and get your Taarifa Teke.
We're bringing you the hottest show in town. From exclusive interviews with the biggest names in the game.
So this is music. Now kose kuona dance. The way you wanna dance bila muziki.
You're watching Kwetu Mix. Respect the OGs. Yeah.
To a DJ set that will knock your socks off.
Kwetu Mix NTV. Monday mpaka Friday. Let's go.
Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Kwetu Mix every weekday only on NTV.
You have not been working properly. You haven't presented expense reports in years. And that's more than enough reason to fire you. It's time for someone responsible to come in and take your place.
Mirta, say something. What happened?
Sammy, I'm in big trouble right now. I need help. I beg you, Samantha, I need your help. I don't want to go to prison. You'll be able to verify it when you speak with your father.
Candida, my dad is already dead.
Your father is Alvaro.
You are the one.
Family Bank's journey began with a visionary leader, Mr. Titus Muya.
They all grew from humble beginnings and then grew to become big international organizations.
Family Bank has grown alongside the nation, empowering individuals, businesses, and communities.
The vision and mission of Family Bank, we believe in positive transformation of people's lives.
I've enjoyed their services and they have supported me to grow.
Kwa sababu si umesikia ni ya family na si tukaingia ndani tukawa hapo. Na mpaka wakati huu tuko hapo hatujatoka.
Catch Family Bank at 40 documentary on Wednesday, 2nd April at 8:40 p.m. only on NTV.
We are family. Tufanikishe zaidi.
Welcome back to Your World Wednesday edition. Today we are talking all matters health, and we're focused today on perimenopause and menopause, what it's about, what is it, what does it mean. We've talked about the impact, what happens to the woman, and the importance of support when a woman is going through that. And today's question is very simple. How do you feel the society views perimenopause and menopause? And you guys have quite a bit to say. Just before we get back to the panel, Winnie, wanasema vipi?
There's someone here who says we need menopause at 35 years. That's what we want now.
Allah.
This is Nikita J. Anataka menopause at 35. Why? I really want to understand the why. Maybe there could be a deeper, maybe they have like the most painful cramps and they're like
that could be, yes.
Right? I don't want this, I want. But like that Terry said, remember the post-menopause is forever. So careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
And then someone else says, this is here, Raymond K. He says, let's grow together. I agree. Let's grow together. And then someone says, Gitonga Charles says, the society doesn't care about menopause. But they should care. Shouldn't they, though?
They should, because we don't live in isolation. Mm-hmm. We really don't live in isolation.
Yes, we should care. And then someone says yes. Sasa yes atujini yes for. Anakubaliana na hiyo. And then Mwende Wambuko says the society gives it a shameful look, which is true. And based on what we've read so far, there's a lot of shame, surrounding the same. But I'm just curious to hear from you, because you've talked about, you said you dedicated 6 years of your life to educating people and research and telling people this is what menopause looks like. And like you said, menopause is beautiful.
It is.
Which I like.
Yes.
That's when you thrive. I'm like,
yes. Right?
Yes.
So what is it? How are the people responding? What are people saying? What is like one of the biggest concerns based on what you've seen so far?
First of all, it has given me a lot of pleasure to do this with women. It's been 11 years of working with women. And as I say, is what I've seen with myself and with many other women, is that this is a time when you had given out to the rest of the world the whole time before menopause. You were giving out and giving out and giving out and giving out. This is a time to give back to yourself. And the women who actually have it rougher are the women who have not accepted to give them back to themselves. The women who refuse that this is not they are still counting their mistakes and everything. One thing about menopause that I know you will interact with women when you meet them is the good girl syndrome dies. that one, literally the good girl syndrome. I don't want to impress you. It's not my business to impress you. You see, she's doing this because it gives you that moment of I'm not ready to be stepped on anymore. Yet the society sometimes can really press on a woman. And so for me, I've seen myself being exceedingly productive. Like I'm thinking straight, I'm doing things, and then I've had to be self-aware. I took 3 years of studying Caro to know who Caro is, what makes her happy, what are her emotions. I go through all these emotions. I still go through, and it's a pleasure to work women to go through these emotions, to go through these traumas that we have not healed, to go through this and then accept them, live with them and sit with them and be at peace with it. When the wrinkles start coming, I know I'll fill with collagen. When the hair starts falling, and maybe, for example, one of the other symptoms of menopause can be alopecia, and I'm seeing so many women struggling with alopecia. But if it's not working, let's just be bald and let's move on. Let's just go on. So when it's someone struggling with weight, let's see what is happening. Like, for example, an example I'll give you is it took me so many years to identify the causes of heart palpitation. One of them was whenever I eat refined wheat ugali or refined rice, I would have heart palpitations. I would sweat. I would feel like I want to sleep. I would feel like my heart is almost stopping. Imagine how long it took me to identify the rice and that my diet was contributing to that. If I dare eat wheat, I think in the morning when I came in and I was telling her, I don't take wheat. If I dare take wheat, the bloating, the gas in my stomach. So I moved away from the gluten because I understood my body. So it's very important for that woman to understand what is it that is not working. I don't mean that every woman will experience a problem with rice and ugali. No, that's me. But it's important for you to study and know your diet. What is it that is interfering with your diet? At the same time, understand if you're having low libido, I've had to now study and understand what are the foods that you can eat. I have something called Slimy Girl to help women slime.
Antiwa Moreo.
You know, it is very okay to have this conversation. They are sex lubricants. Use them. Men and women, let's have these conversations. Because we are angry at things. There's also something that, again, it's another of my analogies, that if you're not living in your soul purpose and menopause finds you, you will be miserable. So you better find your soul purpose. You better be happy with what you're doing, because you will be in denial of what you'll be in denial of your life. Why you see some women very angry? I have no problem with church, but have you ever seen those old mamas in church who are just angry at the younger women because they feel like, why are they happy? Why are they happy and I'm not happy? You see those angry mother-in-laws. Sometimes they are just angry at the younger people. Why? You are young. Appreciate when you are young, you had your chance. So this is my chance. We are wise. I think if I had not gone through menopause, I would not be seated here, right? If Daktari had not gone to medical school, you'd not be seated here. So accept that you are old, the skin is going down, feed some collagen, add some magnesium. Magnesium is one. Daktari will tell you magnesium is one of the things that is messing so many women because they don't refill it. Our diet is minimal on magnesium. So that is where this is when you make friends with the original dark chocolate. And if you don't know where to find it, come, I'll show you, I have it. This is when you make friends, you stop eating soil, eat food. This is when you know avocado gives you good magnesium, feed on it. Osteoarthritis has been mentioned. This is where you look for calcium, feed it, refill you. Find time for you. Find time for you. This is the time you go to the spa, you go to the salon. This is when my daughter knows. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and she knows there's mommy time. And mommy time, whether the world is burning, you do not dare. And I switch off my phone. I'll take time for me. Why? Because I need the wisdom. I need the books. I need all these things. So the biggest challenge I've seen with us women is that the society has told us we must do this, we must do this, we must do this. Even this morning on my way here, I was just fighting with my best friend, and I was telling her, she's telling me she's bedridden, and I told her, you're not sick, stop going to hospital. It's just that you are carrying everyone's burdens. Women, most women will tell you they're tired here,
Yes.
right? Backaches.
Yeah.
Because of the burdens we are carrying.
Yeah.
This is when we have to drop them.
Yeah.
And then we have to love ourselves. And for you who is not yet there, how do you do that? You learn boundaries so that when you get there, you'll not be as tired as our mothers are.
I see
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
really, really like that. I
Wisdom.
like that. Right?
Yes.
Now is the time to take care of you.
Yes.
Because you've taken care of
Asma, let
everybody
it
else
burn.
around.
Let everything burn. It's
Imagine you have been giving out even your periods every month, and now your God is telling you, please relax, and you are still running up and down trying to do all these things. So refill the minerals, the nutrients that your body has lost. Refill the love, refill everything, and self-love, and accept it as it comes.
I like the analogy. Now, Doc, medically, how do you manage?
Because I'd like to know that, because she mentioned earlier she did hormonal replacement therapy. And there are other things aligned with that as well. Maybe you can chime in on that.
Okay, thank you. I'll start by just commenting on the two feedbacks that you gave us. If there's some group, having talked about menopause and the pros and cons and what have you about menopause, there are women who look forward for menopause. Endometriosis is one group that look for menopause. The others who have severe congestive dysmenorrhea and PCOS, the one she's talking about. Because cessation of periods, low estrogen, helps to control. Indeed, the medications that we give for those conditions is to reduce the menopause. Someone said she should start at 35.
Yes, tunataka menopause sahi at 35.
Yeah, those are the kind of patients. Someone else also said, why are we discussing menopause? It's absolutely important. And we cannot stop discussing about menopause. She said menopause have broken homes. Yes, indeed it has. It has bring lots of disharmony in children, mental conditions, and also menopause we have to discuss. Because it's from that discussion that we have knowledge and we are better prepared to handle the women going into menopause. Even as women, even as men, the andropause, we shall now be prepared to go into menopause. I know she has really simplified menopause. She's very good.
She has.
And I can see
she
you're
has
really
made it
excited.
palatable for everyone.
Nevertheless, we have to prepare for menopause. And know that one day we shall get to menopause. One day we'll get to andropause as men. So how do we prepare? Let's remember, let's learn more about menopause. Menopause is a condition. It's sort of like a disease condition that needs preparation, needs support, and it has treatment. Yes, she mentioned one of them, the medical or the HRT, the hormone replacement therapy, which sometimes you have to use with a lot of caution. Because again, they can bring things like breast cancer, uterine cancer. So the doctors do a lot of assessment. But now we have newer products, very new products. And we encourage women that are really suffering from menopausal signs and symptoms to embrace some of those conditions, some of the drugs. If they say they are the doctors, they have minimal issues about the side effects. The ones I've mentioned, cancer of the breast, cancer of the uterus, which is very common. Those drugs are very, very nice, and they alleviate, because menopause, in as much as we say, if you get someone who is really into menopause and the symptoms are crazy, they cannot work, they cannot go, they are depressed, they are all sorts of things, they are unkept, and they're just miserable. So it's important to remember that there are those the HRT drugs that are used.
So what exactly do these medications do? Because you said earlier on, postmenopausal is forever, and you feel, the symptoms and whatnot. So when you talk about these medications, what exactly do they?
They simply replenish the estrogens.
Okay.
Yes, that's basically what they do.
Yeah.
And why we are talking about now the side effect of cancer is because they give now excess estrogens, which now are carcinogenic. They can bring the cancers. But before we go to drugs, there are other conditions, there are other things that we can do, which are very, very important. And someone mentioned about exercises. very, very, very important. And I'm sure she does, and I'm sure she does. But just looking at them, they must be hitting the gym at least times 3 per week. Exercises are very important. They increase the perfusion. They stimulate the happy hormones. So your skin will always glow. You feel happy. You feel energized. And that helps. She mentioned about food.
Yes.
Yeah,
What
food
you
changes. There are some food items in the diet that you have that provoke menopause and worsen menopause. And she mentioned some
processed foods.
Processed foods. Yeah, it mentioned magnesium.
Yeah.
Pepper. There are some women when they take pepper, they're in lots of problems when it comes to menopause. So you need to identify. Yeah. So lifestyle changes, things like smoking, excess alcohol. Yeah. Those are things that you do there. Lots of carbohydrates. So you need the input of, and maybe next time we can have a nutritionist around
as well.
to tell us what are the kind of diet that we need to involve. And the diet is going to help us by telling us this kind of food will provoke menopause or make menopause worse. They also help in avoiding the stomachs they are accusing you of, so that you do not have abnormal deposition of fats. Then, of course, there are some natural drugs that we can take. Soya-based medication.
Soya beans.
Soya beans.
Okay.
So there are soya-based natural products that can be used.
Okay.
There are other drugs like in hypertension that help, because the treatment for hypertension has to control the circulation of blood. So when you use them in menopause, they help in circulation of blood. So before we jump into the HRT, there are all those drugs, lifestyle changes, exercises. So menopause, andropause, let's know it comes. By the way, the men also behave the same way. They are sweaty.
Can we just stick hapo kidogo?
Tukae
hapo kidogo. Because you mentioned andropause, right? And men go through it. And I am very sure most of them are curious. They're like, hey, ngoja kwanza.
Ata sisi.
So at what point does it come? What are the symptoms? Because
what does it look like?
50, the same age, around 50.
Oh, around 50s too?
Yes, that's why I talked about spousal support.
Yeah.
Because you are going
hand in hand.
There's no one who is being left behind.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, it was sort of a marriage,
superficial and all.
Yeah. So what are the symptoms? What do they feel like? What do they...
What does it look
they
like
feel
for the man?
agitated, they are emotional, they are insomnia, they become complex, they have the night sweats and hot flashes. You see them sweating.
They do?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah. So they behave the same way. Yes, they behave the same way.
Wow.
And it is not that their libido also increases.
Yeah.
It also takes
It also goes down.
in a way. So that's why you should form a team.
Yes.
To try and work together and help each other.
And support each other.
But
Winnie, your laugh is malicious.
menopause needs to be prepared for. Because the more you're prepared for it, the more happier you will be. Because you know it's time to travel, it's now time to eat fruits, it's time now to go easy on the work and concentrate more on gym and socializing and listening to other people. So it needs that bit of preparation. The other thing that you need to be alive about menopause coming is some of the conditions, medical conditions that menopause can come with. Cardiovascular diseases, strokes, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis. Yes, cholesterol. Position in the blood vessels and all. Yeah, so all those are medical conditions, and therefore it increases the need for checkups. Cancers also come in. Yeah, the breast cancer. Remember, that's a period again. We have now other cancers like ovarian cancer. That is the period. So the woman is to be prepared and know that yes, it will come. It has a cure. This is the way to handle it. But there are other concomitant diseases that come that we need to be checked out for.
May I ask Doctor a question?
Sure, yes.
For this, for the younger, allow me to call you. For the women who are not yet there and the men, would you kindly tell them if self-medication will interfere with the menopause? You see the way they're having a headache, they go and get there. They're having this problem, they're having they keep medicating themselves, thinking it will not catch up with them. Could you kindly tell
It's
them?
dangerous.
You know
Very,
something
very-
we don't know.
Very dangerous. And you should avoid self-medication.
Exactly.
Because the drugs themselves, they have side effects. Remember, they have things like acidity problems.
Yes.
They damage the liver. Yeah. So they should avoid having self-medication. Yes.
Thank you.
And they should ensure that they get a multidisciplinary approach. Remember, the way we are here. Yeah, someone who has gone through.
Yes.
And, a psychologist,
Yeah.
a nutritionist, and then a physician, sort of a family physician. They should seek support other than picking medications. They can actually even hide a medical condition.
Yeah.
Remember, we have said that it can mimic other problems like
Yeah.
infections, TB, and the rest. Yeah, so it's important to seek medical advice first. If they are told then when you have this, then you can take them. Then it's better.
And those who, when you treat them, you tell them what to take, then after they are done, they don't want to come back to you. They go back to the chemist to buy for themselves because you said. And they keep doing that. Also, the people who sometimes self-medicate in family planning methods. Mama Njeri did this, so me, I'm doing this.
Yes. We've
By
seen people
the
do
way,
that.
that has brought a lot of problems, especially in cancers. Okay, you take some family planning methods, then you have abnormal bleeding. So you just think, this one is because of the family planning method I'm taking, so let me go and buy this other medication. Then, of course, the over-counter issue again. So by the time now the bleeding is not stopping and you go to the doctor, then you find then you have an advanced malignancy. And most of the gynecological cancers come with abnormal bleeding. Okay, and abnormal pains.
Yeah.
So it's important to seek medical advice.
So then how do we involve the rest of the family? Because I want to believe, you see how they say, Mama, yes, the father is the head.
But then we always run to mom.
Yes, all the time. So then how do we involve the rest of the family members so that when, say, a mom is going through something, sisi wote tusiseme, hey, mom, leo umekasirika, wachana na yeye. You know, and all those things to support, you know, what Dr. was talking about. How do we do that, Esther? Involve the rest of the family to understand, oh, when mom is behaving this way, it's because she's going through this, and this is how we can support them.
Okay, I think instead of thinking what the family should do, it's good also to understand that sometimes it's not about what other people are doing for me.
Sure.
It is what am I
can
doing
I do
for me?
myself?
Because
I like
I'm
that.
the one feeling the heat.
Yes.
So what am I supposed to do when I feel that now I'm not comfortable taking care of my family anymore? Because you find, like, at this stage, you see, this most women are in their 40s and their 50s. So they are the same people taking care of their aging parents.
Yes.
My mother has retired, so who is gonna support my mother financially? And even if my parents are financially stable, they are no longer able to manage their finances. They are no longer able to manage their estates. So you find that you, the girl, is the one who is now given the burden of taking care of your aging parents, taking them to hospital, managing finances, managing estates, still taking care of your family. And there's something that I like called this Messiah syndrome. The Messiah syndrome is when you feel like you are the savior of the whole village.
Yes.
But you are not the savior of the whole village.
No.
So know you before other people know you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's very important.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what are some of the things that maybe we can do, or anyone who's going through that, to mentally probably call themselves to? Yes.
Yeah. Self-talk is very important.
Okay.
Unajita can call yourself for a meeting.
Yes.
And
Each
sometimes
two
you even write down your responsibilities as a woman. I write down my responsibilities as a woman. So I tick, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Maybe support my family first, my relatives, and be assertive. Assertiveness meaning when it's a yes, yes, it's a yes.
Yes.
When it's a no, it's a no.
Yeah.
And we say that being assertive is not being arrogant.
True.
It is because you are self-aware. That's why we say self-awareness first. As before you let other people decide for you what you need to do, you have already made your own decisions.
Yeah.
So because we say if you let the whole world take care of you, you become a slave of your own self. Because the world is bigger than you. So if you're not able to control your own emotions, do you expect people to understand that I'm supposed to take care of this person because today she's feeling hungry, now wacha tumtreat, wacha tumpatie maji. Like you've just sent some water here. Did I really need water? I don't know. So it's good to understand you first before the world understands you.
And how then would you advise women to learn to advocate for themselves? Because like Dr. Terry pointed out, sometimes it's a case of misdiagnosis. Unaenda unapewa dawa za sijui nini na nini na nini, and yet you're actually dealing with symptoms of menopause. So to really advocate for themselves and be assertive.
I love what Esther is saying, and I'll ask, if someone told you to go to Nation Center in Nairobi and you've never been there, would you be able to go there? No. So self-awareness, as she's talking about, most of us women, we let other people define who we truly are. So it's important to sit with yourself. It's important to know you. It is okay to just know you're not a perfect person. Ask me my weaknesses, I'll tell you. And also I listen to when Daktari will tell me my weakness, when Mikali will tell me, when Winnie will tell me, and then I listen without feeling judged. I accept and see if there's anything I can change, fine, I'll change. Our biggest problem is that we don't want to face some of these traumas we have gone through. We don't want to face what is happening. And so we allow the other person to define for us. I really feel bad when I see a woman allowing either her financial status, her social status, her marital status define who she is instead of finding who you are. Most of us don't want to sit with ourselves. We can't. Their biggest, every time I have a seminar with women, I tell them, would you be able to sit 5 minutes of doing nothing, no phone, no nothing, and you're not thinking and you're not stressed? Would you be able to do that? And all the women tell me, that is so hard. Why? Because the society accustomed us to always run up and down.
We are moving.
We are always moving. From when we were born, we were told a girl should never sit. So self-awareness is very, very key, and it will give you the voice. And always remember, again, if you look at it scientifically, your throat is connected to your uterus. So if you cannot express your emotions, watch a two, there is a connection from head to toe. Those women who just say, let me just sit here, I'll not share my problems. Kwa Kikuyu we say it, mutumia ni gutumeria maodo. A woman keeps quiet. You will die of other problems. Your problem, you keep quiet there. Your problem.
Like anatomy.
Yes. A cover and a mix, everything.
So speak out.
Speak out. And I love that you say that, because you've taken the time to study. And research and know. You've taken the time to understand what kind of help, and that it needs. I need to know best what I need, because even the people around you, sometimes they will not give you what you need.
Because you don't even know what you need.
You don't even
know what you need. But then when you talk about community and being around women who are going through the same thing, actively helping them, and I know it's something that you do loudly, and maybe you can also tell us, Esther, if it's something that you do loudly as well, where there is a community of women coming together to talk about this, sort of like a support group.
What I do is, Esther, I go for mental health talks. So when I talk about mental health, we will talk about things that will disturb any human being. We may not focus so much on menopause, but we'll focus on what are these things that will bring about anxiety in your life. What are these things that will bring about depression? Those assertiveness techniques, communicating openly, and asking for what you need, not what the other person thinks that you need. So when we go for understanding mental health, it's very key, because in that you then get to know, am I living with a sickly spouse? Is this spouse of mine, does he have some underlying issues? Like when they start showing many signs of depression or signs of anxiety, is it something that she has lived with from long ago? Or is this something that's just erupted, has just shown up now? So we get to understand that you need to understand the type of a person that you're living in, so that you're living with, so that when they are falling sick, you will know.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Yes, a bit of a challenge with the mic. Yes. Yeah. Go on.
So that when you're falling sick, your spouse will know. We have underlying issues like either you have genetical issues in depression, mental health conditions that any person may not understand.
Yeah.
So when you get into menopause, then it will be too loud.
Yeah.
So at that point now you go for treatment.
I see.
Where this person will be treated by either a psychiatrist, because psychologists, we don't work alone. We work with psychiatrists.
I
So
see.
if you notice that it is a mental illness, then you're taken to a psychiatrist so that they give you maybe antidepressants or mood stabilizers.
I like that. And I like the fact that we're approaching this holistically today, not just hey, wetu ambie, hey, daktari wetu ambie, and then we move forward. There's so much to discuss. We're taking a break, and then when we come back, there's so much, and especially on the beautiful side of menopause, right? So we look at the other side, the other, the other phase of menopause, and how do we encourage as many women out there to enjoy this period? It's difficult, it's tough. Nobody wants to deal with those symptoms every single day, and even being scared to go out in public and meet people and just thrive and live your life. So how do we encourage women to get there and enjoy the phase they are in at that point? All that is coming up after the break, but keep sending in your views, okay, on the question that we're asking you, and that is, what do you feel the society views menopause and perimenopause? We'll also go through your feedback after the break. To stay with us. The show is Your World.
Siasa ni ngazi ya vizazi.
Anything which is given to you at the moment is nothing.
Mimi mtanitambua kwa vitendo vyangu, lakini sio kwa yale ambaye nitakuwa napiga nduru.
Ni jukwaa la historia.
Matiba was the de facto leader of the opposition from that moment.
Sasa tutakuwa na rais mpya, Kenneth Matiba.
Demokrasia ni safari ndefu.
Idi Amin alikuwa ameanguka, Obote amerudi na ulevi wake, Museveni naye kwa msituni anafuruga. We saw insecurity.
The repression of Amin did not go as deeply as the repression of Obote.
Na hata vigogo wa zama hizo wamo na watawala wa sasa.
Yani bottom.
Kali hizi zinachezwa na kina mama wabobezi na wanaobadilisha historia.
We are going to shed blood because of our land. We are used to that.
Historia ya siasa ndiyo hujenga taifa la sasa. Ungana naye Paul Nabiswa, mtafiti wa historia ya siasa, katika Mikoba ya Demokrasia. Haya ni makala ya darubini kali ya siasa za mapambano na maridhiano kwa uhakika mkubwa. Hivi karibuni hapa NTV.
Every crime has a story.
She didn't have her hair.
Every murder leaves a trail.
Nikaona mahali amepost, guys, I must die.
If I try to do something, ama kusema kitu yoyote, they will kill me.
But not every case finds justice.
Apelekwe kotini, ahukumiwe.
Walisikia polisi wakisema tumekamalizia.
Au maaskari wakatuambia, kujeni mchukue maiti yenu. Huyu amekufa yuko.
For the first time, we take you deep inside Kenya's most chilling murder cases.
Kulikuwa na panga mingi, kulikuwa na chuma mingi.
More horrific and ominous details were about to unfold.
Vinamelala ayuya shakufu.
So it's just a personal vendetta.
Murder tips. The truth is buried in the evidence.
Mwenyezi Mungu atakufungulia hazina zake nzuri kutoka mbinguni na kubariki kazi za mikono yako. Utayakopesha mataifa mengi, lakini wewe hautakopa. Mungu atakufanya kuwa wa kwanza na sio wa mwisho. Hakika utaendelea mbele na sio kurudi nyuma.
Nation.
Our relationships are not working.
Femicide. Ilikuwa tu vitu zinafanyika, mnanyamaza, zinafunikiwa.
Nobody deserves to be killed in the name of relationships that are voluntary. If you don't like me, just leave me alone.
Sisi kama wanaume pia kuna vile tunakuwa affected, but tunanyamazia juu machozi yetu ni ya ndani.
Today I feel like we are lifting the need. We are lifting the shame. We are lifting the conspiracy of silence that men can actually talk.
Marriage is a journey.
Whoever can annoy you, they can control you. Don't allow a woman to annoy you. If she starts pulling you down, my brother, just walk out.
Did Cecilia tell my father about your relationship with her?
Life is full of surprises.
Is there something else that I need to be worried about?
Today's Judgment Day.
She's out of danger now.
Uliacha mwanamke alikuwa na mtoto, jua mwanamke mwingine.
Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. And people come in and they're like, oh, it works. I can have ice cream and I'm not in any discomfort. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
Tired of endless scrolling? Say goodbye to the chaos. Introducing the all-new Business Daily website. Experience seamless navigation. Immerse yourself in a world of more videos and more podcasts. Discover more with our enhanced home pages. Engage like never before with our interactive tools. Join us and elevate your reading experience today. Business Daily. More possibilities.
All right, welcome back. We are in the last minutes of the conversation. And just in case uko umejoin in the first place, umefika sahi, we're talking about menopause and perimenopause and navigating the two. And there's something that sasa we want to dwell in. If you've missed out, don't worry. Unaweza rudisha hivi nyuma on YouTube and get to watch the conversation from start. But now we want to focus on the beautiful side of menopause. What do you look forward to hear? The beautiful side of menopause. Because like you said, you saw what your mom went through.
Yes.
You experienced it. Ukalan kidogo hivi na hivi. Yes. What was one thing that you were like, hey, okay.
She put up boundaries that I'd never seen before, for sure.
Interesting. Yeah.
And it wasn't. I'm very easy, malleable. People pleasing. Uko tunachezeanga hiyo area.
Yeah.
But when it came to family, she put up boundaries to protect me. And it's like nothing I had seen before. She protected herself first.
Yes.
And then she went out and was like, mimi nimejitoa pia huyu wangu.
I like that.
I will hold on to her. And I'd never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. With the other symptoms, I've seen her be able to manage. She works out every day for the last 20 plus years. So, tukieko hapa anakaa sistangu mdogo.
Wow.
So that helps. She does not eat at night. When you talked about bathing at night, we'd be at home, we're like, mama, umefika utakwenda kwa kasema nikioga saizi ndaoga tena kabla nikalale. So now we understand, we make fun of it. We are not, it's very accommodated at home.
Yes, yeah. And you see, that's the beauty, and the reason why I was asking, so how do we involve the entire family? Because now you make fun of it, it's all good and whatnot, and everybody knows we're good, right? Other than kujificha, una handle peke yako, una suffer peke yako, like you said, connection between the thyroid, the uterus, and all those things. Now, we're focusing on the beautiful side of menopause. And I know someone is watching us and thinking, with all the symptoms that you guys talked about, with all the changes, with all is it even possible, Daktari? Before we talk to the women, because they'll tell us. But is it possible to experience the beautiful side, the easy side, the enjoyment? Yeah, because
rise
maisha hapo
in
ndio imeanza,
menopause.
right? Yeah, after menopause.
Menopause,
Yes.
you can enjoy yourself.
Yes.
And I think it's key for the women and for the society to hear that. It's not that they are cast lots.
Yeah.
They cannot. Remember initially I said they can go dance, they can put on their bikinis, they on their mini skirts.
Yes.
They can do everything.
Daktari amesema.
Yes.
Daktari amesema.
Naweza fanya everything. So, yeah. And actually, when the women have that right mindset about menopause, and remember I said about being ready.
Yeah.
Yes. As soon as you start getting perimenopause, then you know menopause is coming. How will I handle that? Is my spouse on my side? Is my daughter and other people on my side? Do they know what I'm going through? They talked about speaking out and discuss. So everybody is in the picture. In fact, that goes even to other diseases. Yeah, if you have the right mindset about a particular disease, imagine even a cancer you're going to survive over and over and over and over. The same with menopause.
Yes.
All right? Because you're saying it is not that you are doomed because you have menopause. Remember what we said in our last section, that there are lifestyle changes. And what lifestyle changes are we talking about? We are talking about eating healthy.
Yes.
So when you eat healthy, what happens? Of course, you're better, you're brighter, your hair will be there, you look good and everything. We are talking about exercises. We are saying, if you smoke, and God forbid, then you are saying that you need to start thinking, how do I stop this smoking?
Okay.
All right? If it's alcohol, how do I stop being a daily drinking officer?
Daily drinking officer.
DDO. How will I stop that? Because what happens to the OH in the alcohol? It messes my body. So you're talking about some changes that make you a better person. All right? And then he said, if you're moving from lifestyle changes, dietary adjustments, hormonal, non-hormonal, natural products, there is hope. If it goes beyond, there is medication that will help you and make you live longer. So you're talking about living longer, seeing your children, looking at life in another way, and embracing change. So that's how you look at it. And you'll be happy. And you just be like anybody else. You play golf if you want to play golf. You're going to swim. You do all sorts of things that you need to
Wear
do.
your bikini and go swim. Daktari?
Yes, please. Daktari amesema.
Kabisa.
Prescription imetoka. That's what we're doing.
And remember, even before we went to the break, when we said, is there a possibility to enjoy life after menopause? And
Esther's like, yes. Yes.
Tell us, what are you doing? How are you enjoying life right now? And also, speaking to families, to couples, encouraging them as well through this process.
Yeah, I liked what Dr. said, that I can wear my bikini and go out swim there.
Why not?
I think this is the highest time now you realize that you've already brought up your children.
Yes.
They are grown-ups. If I'm 50, I imagine if you gave birth in your 20s, your kids could be in their 20s and 25.
Yes.
So they've already gone through Canvas and they're working. So you have the all time for yourself. So you can take holiday. You can go for holiday. That is self-care, very key self-care. Change your diet. That's the time now you realize, okay, fine, because there are greater changes that comes along with menopause and that midlife ages. That's the time you realize, oh, do I need to change my career? I need to change my career. Maybe you have worked in you've been one particular person for all 30 years. So I need now to make a refresher. We say life begins at 40. So 40, 45, change your career. Do you have finances? Buy yourself a nice car. If you're willing to, you've been wishing to buy yourself something, treat yourself good.
Yes.
Don't wait to be surprised by your husband.
Yes.
Because happiness, we say happiness is within you.
Yes.
So create that happiness and be happy and embrace that now there's a great change that has come. Even my age has changed. My hair has started thinning. So what do I do with my hair? When people talk of now on a bald head, fine, I appreciate my bald head. And I have hairstyles and I say, fine, this is me and I cannot change myself. So self-acceptance And self-care is very key at this very stage. You can enjoy menopause.
Yes.
And I don't think I have any wrinkle on my
No,
face.
you look
No, you do not.
amazing.
You don't.
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah.
And I don't expect to have it even at 60. You know?
That's the spirit. Yes.
So you can enjoy menopause to the fullest.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
Hey.
And also, I'll also not forget to visit my gynecologist.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the way to go.
Continue taking care of yourself.
Continue taking
Taking care
Go
of
for
your
medical
health as
checkups.
well. Yes.
If the daktari has prescribed cholesterol drugs for you, take the drugs and go for checkups. Don't buy medicine over the counter. Yeah. Go for what she said, natural those
Yes,
things.
remedies.
Go for those natural remedies.
Yes.
Go for them.
Yeah.
And you'll be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
And also socialize.
At
Socialize.
least.
Don't
Yes.
stop going out. Don't
Yes.
stop going to dance.
Yes.
In fact, I go to dance almost once per month.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Nice. What do you do? What kind? Do you go for salsa? What do you do?
Salsa.
Hey.
Salsa. Yeah, I have a trainer.
Winnie.
I have a trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ay,
wow.
tuteka na wewe at this point. Please,
Yeah.
tupeleke. Pia sisi tukadance.
Thank you.
Carol,
Wow, that
enjoyment.
explains her beautiful skin.
Right?
That is, it's so refreshing. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. The hardest part is asking for help. I think what we've just been told by Esther, we need to learn to how and when to ask for help. How and when to go for the medical checkup. You're not going because you're sick. Most women don't go. No, they think, I went through menopause, I don't need my gynecologist. You actually need them every once in a while. Go and just check how the systems are going. If you need therapy, we might talk like just lightly, but I'm one of those people who went through depression 3 years after, and depression, anxiety, heart palpitation, all those problems where you need a psychologist. Sometimes it can find you. When it finds you, please go and look for that help. And we have so many wonderful people who can help you. I am a health coach. I am a naturopathic health coach. And health coach, what I do is I show you, like you are the one in the field. You're the one playing on the battlefield. And for me, I'll just walk with you. When I hear something that is an alarm, I'll send you for diagnosis to the doctor. When I hear something that needs psychologist, I'll send you to a psychologist. And then in the good times, we will have good times. So I have a forum for women called Let Loose Retreat. Let Loose, where we just go and let loose, no cameras, no nothing, and we just go and share, scream, shout, do whatever it is that we can do. I promise you we do good things. We are Christians. Then I have created a safe space called Healing Rain Center. It's in Rongai, Kenya, a place where you can come and find simple accommodation. Our beds are not like this. They are down there. We ground there. And then we have a screaming room where you come and just let out all those emotions out. And then we feed you only indigenous African foods. We don't feed you processed foods. We don't feed you foods with preservatives or additives. We are called Healing Rain Center. And so there is also herbal massage. There is also full body massage. You can do spa foot bath. We show you how to do some self-love. I'm very, very high on self-love, especially now for the younger women like me who are now going towards that point, because most, especially our mothers, we were denied the chance to have self-love. We were told we give. So even my mom, I taught my mom how to swim at 60. Wow. I taught her how to swim at 60. Now she started driving last year at 60 something. And I kept teaching her, let's love ourselves, because we need to refill our self-love. And so other than that, I have a company that's called Rejuvenating Nature's Beam, where now I preserve the African foods. And so how do I preserve them? I only solar dry them, package them. So I have a tea. For, that is made from, like, for example, guava leaves tea. I'm an ethnobotanist as well. So yes. Yeah. Yes, I use leaves. I use guava leaves, mango leaves, avocado leaves.
They make tea?
Yes, I make tea. Chai. I help you get calcium from the avocado seed powder. Wow. Yes, I have this avocado seed. So I've studied the plant, how it can give us the nutrients. I've taken them to the lab. I was just telling the doctor when we were on a break that my mom is not schooled, but she didn't get a chance to go to school, but she had special knowledge about plants. Okay. So I borrowed from her take it to the lab, then package it for you who is in Nairobi. But if you are at home, I do farm tours. Like last week on Friday, I usually open my doors to my farms where people can come and interact with the plant, because you grew up with most of the plants. I'll tell you for free that my mom gave me a tea that was made of Mexican marigold, blackjack, and dandelion. Those 3 things and another weed. Those 3 things. Growing up, I knew they were poisonous. Yeah, but my my HB levels were always high. To date, I took it to the lab and I was like, oh my God. So these older men and women also have some wisdom that we don't know.
Wow. And also
so I use
plants.
food.
It's nice. Yes. It's refreshing. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I do farm.
Yes.
So I do the farm tours. I take people to the farm tours. Wow. The Rejuvenating Nature's Beam is just a consultancy where you will guide you. We hear you are a problem. We work with doctors for diagnosis. We work with other experts, psychologists, psychiatrists, so that they can come in and we do 360 degrees disease prevention and management. That is why I am called Carol, your health coach. Other than that, I do sexual and reproductive health education. I know on social media, most people know me because I talk about sex boldly out there and say there's a good side of sex.
Yeah. Other than what we were told, taboo.
And and when a woman is aware and she goes through menopause, you can actually, that's the best time to enjoy sex.
Watershed tuko Mabel.
Yes, so don't feel like, oh, I'm old. No, that's the time. And for the men, the libido could be going down, but you have the experience. So in Kikuyu, I think a lot in Kikuyu. Again, we say translate.
What does that mean?
The older man has more wisdom, more experience. So stop chasing the younger men. So you can't act like a younger man. So appreciate when you are old because you have experience and wisdom.
And you know what I like about how you guys are sharing is because there's that hope, because a lot of women have boxed themselves. So sasa maisha imeisha, I am retired, I am
expiry date, rubber stamp,
right? You know, but this
and some allow me to just share 3 things. 1, women, drink water. Please drink water. Some of these problems they're having is because they are not drinking water. 2, learn to study your body. Do the lymphatic body brush. Help your lymphatic system. Every time you go to the bathroom, check your armpits. When you're showering, love your body. That is 2. 3, rest.
Please
rest.
You've been running around all year long, all those years. Please take time to rest and all those. I like that.
I do.
Beautiful side.
You had something to add, Esther?
Before I forget.
Yes.
This one key thing, being close to God.
Okay.
Being close to God. So spiritual nourishment is very, very key.
Important.
Even in the institution that I work for, the Royal Victory Hospital, we are a faith-based institution. It's a mental health hospital. We have a rehabilitation, and I see the joy that our clients have when you bring prayers to them. It's very, very satisfying.
Yes.
So while we're taking care of ourselves, let's not forget that we have a spiritual being. A higher being that we need to get close to.
Hey, okay.
Like we've centered it all, you know.
Yes.
Like there's the mental beat of things, there's a physical beat of things, there is the social beat of
emotional,
things. Like when you put, and then the spiritual beat of things. When you put all of them together, you think it's at some point in your life that you will need that. Ukiwa young kidogo na feel I'll catch up with that later. And then umefika miaka 37 wanakwambia kuna kitu inaitwa perimenopause, unaanza kubreathe. Where's my water? Why am I not going dancing?
Why do I need to be in the house at 7 in bed?
You know?
It's because of all these changes that are happening. And Doc, do you want to just speak to the younger women? Because we've talked about, women, yes, your 30s, 40s, perimenopause, menopause, post-menopause, all those good things, right? Speaking to the younger women in terms of understanding the changes that are happening, in the bodies, and what's okay, what's not okay, what do you need to, consult daktari kidogo, some even as simple as gynecological visit. Some women tend to wait until, you're pregnant. Oh, okay. You know, that is when you start thinking about going to see a gynecologist. So just speak to the younger women to prepare them.
Before we go to the younger women,
Yes.
I would like the men to borrow a leaf from what we have discussed.
Yes.
And I think the issues you have discussed, they mirror, what men should do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, talking about drinking of water, being happy, self-care, mental health, and all those things. And I think I stand corrected. I think the men also, they suffer more of, they keep things to themselves. They don't discuss. Because they feel, the manhood in them, they should not discuss their problems. They are men, so they should go to, So I think the women that have learned all this from this show, and the men also, let's borrow a leaf, so that we can also go in tandem with them, with the women, because they've gotten very good advice, and thanks so much for sharing. Now, awareness, because today is Awareness Wednesday.
Yes.
And possibly it was not for the young women to discuss. I mean, it was not their day, but we need to start doing checkups right from when we start having our first periods.
Okay.
Yes. We need to look at where do we come from. Yeah, because some of the diseases start as early as maybe 20 years, depending on the family.
Yes.
So there are things, and remember again, the sex debut in our countries, you won't believe it's 11, 12 years.
Yes.
Okay, so things like pap smears should start at early. Contraceptive device should be started early, because some of those medications, are harmful to their growth. Some ladies take, some girls even take drugs. Of course, you know that.
Yes.
Alcohol, smoking, drugs, and they have an eventual effect on their reproductive health.
Yes.
Okay, so they need to come for those checkups as early as even when they get their first step, we call it MENAC, 20 years, 25 years, there are checkups that are tailor-made for each particular age group. Okay. We are discussing reproductive health, but remember, we're in a country where you have diabetes, ovarian cancer. We have now early cancers coming, by the way, even breast, even ovarian. So we need to have those checkups. Diseases, chronic disease like diabetes and hypertension, all right? They should also undergo that. The other important before now they think of, and this is something that we never do, is preconceptional counseling. Yeah, you get someone going into marriage, they're getting their baby, and their BMI shows obese. So when they add on top of the baby fat, what they already have, then it becomes a big problem. So they should be trained on early exercise, mental health, cholesterol levels, the ideal weight for your height, when do you get pregnant, and most important also, when you get pregnant, how do you behave? What are the things that you do? There are diseases like preeclampsia that are killing our young ladies and leading, they are the leading cause of, neonatal morbidity and mortality. How do you, all those things are very, very important. How do other diseases impact on pregnancy? All right? And then going forward, how then does your body change? When it changes this way, how do you respond? Yes. So all those things are important. They don't have to wait until perimenopause. They need to start early because there are other significant diseases apart from menopause. And once you start a healthy lifestyle, right from the early age, it means even in your menopause years, you'll be better.
That's true.
Yes.
I like that. What a way to end the show.
I know.
Hey,
I love it.
We've
love it.
We've laughed. We've
challenged. We have comedians here.
And all those things. So really, this has been one of those wholesome conversations, really.
Absolutely.
And even just giving menopause a different face, from the sad, lonely,
nimefika mwisho, kind of like, I'm done, retirement is here for me physically and the work. And maybe just before we close, because we're about to, quickly how people can get in touch with you, people who've been following this conversation and wondering if I need help, how can I get in touch with you? And maybe we can just do like a 30-second.
Yes.
10 seconds. 10 seconds each. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a family and marriage psychologist, and you can find me at 0718 252627. Yeah, that is the Royal Victory Hospital.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. My name again is Dr. Washira Morage. I'm based at Savannah Hospital in Upper Hill, Mara Road, an obstetrician, gynecologist, and also a fertility specialist. My number is 0722764545.
And my name is Carol, your health coach, on all my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And you can find my office. I have different offices, but the head office is in Thika. You can call 0711-621563. 0711-621563. It's a call center, so you will be attended to. Or you can go to our website, www.rnb.co.ke.
R&B. Hey,
yes.
All right. But thank you so much, really, to all of you for coming by and sharing your insights, sharing your experiences as well, but also painting a totally different picture as far as menopause is concerned. We are prepared.
Yes, we are.
We have lands.
We cannot say we were not told.
And all those things. So thank you so much for your time. And thank you as well for staying with us until the end of the show. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow on Trendy Thursday.
Adios.
Shilingi 1,000. Toka kwa hiyo sanduku. Stoki. Oh, rudisha hiyo pesa kwa sanduku namba 10.
Ongeza ifikie 50.
Kwa nini? Nataka ukule popcorn ukitizama runinga, sawa? 100,000 Kenya shillings.